not as big as that.
This is kind of hard.
I'm gonna ask the board, 10, I'm not ready.
You can tell how like this, how this, like you can, how muscular it is and stuff.
We need to discuss that publicly. Okay. Okay.
Josh.
Yeah, Buzz likes it better.
Is this on? I seen some.
Yeah.
Way up there.
That's good for ground.
See, it's my stain.
Where is this at?
I'd like to call the Highlands Town Board of Commissioners meeting for Thursday, November the 18th, 2021 to order. And the first item that we will cover would be a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd appreciate everybody joining me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Would you now please stand and let us pledge allegiance to the flag? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our next item will be public comment period. I would appreciate everybody keeping their public comments to no more than 3 minutes. And I will now open the floor. If anyone would like to make a comment, public comment, they can come before the board. And would you please state your name so our town clerk can put that in the minutes. So if anyone would like to make a public comment, the floor is now open. No public comments. Hearing none, let us now move on to the next item, number 4, to review and approve the agenda. Do we have any additions or requests to change the agenda?
I'd like to delete item 10, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, for reasonable accommodations. That will be discussed at a later date. Okay, any other changes to the agenda?
I move to be approved
And modified?
as modified.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, please raise your hand and indicate by saying aye. Thank you
Aye.
very much. All right. The next item will be the approval of the October 21st regular meeting minutes. Do we have any changes or corrections to that set of minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I talked to Jay and Josh. Item 11. I think it might be what we said, but it's not correct. It says that, I'll read the sentence. MIS Director Matt Schuler said after the discussion with Town Attorney Jay Coward, Mr. Coward sent a letter to B1 Fiber on behalf of the town as a notification that liquidated damages will begin on the fiber deployment project effective August the 11th to 21. That's not correct. Jay, you want to say what's correct, or it's?
I don't have the letter in front of me, but I'm pretty sure, and I didn't write it, my associate wrote it. It was a letter addressed to V1 Fiber that said that if you didn't get on the job, we were going to start looking at liquidated damages, and the letter was dated the 11th of August. If it said that it was that liquidated damages were intended to start running on the 11th of August, then that was a mistake. The liquidated damages would begin to run after 300-day contract period and any other days that could be added on to that 300-day period, such as rain days. So when the staff figures out when that date is, liquidated damages could begin running from that date. if the project was not substantially complete, which it wasn't. It's nearly 700 days since the contract was entered into, so.
And Jay, we requested that you work on determining the amount of the liquidated damages.
Right.
You will be reporting to the board soon on your decision on what that should be.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
We've had 2 meetings this week on it.
all right. So how do we proceed on this issue of the date?
I think it should say 300 days after the contract was signed. Plus additional days as approved. But Jay, you're the lawyer.
Well, I would just say that we could clarify in tonight's minutes that the contract specifically states that liquidated damages begins running after 300 days plus any rain days from the date of the contract, which I believe was June 18th, 2020. Yeah. It was 19.
It was
19.
signed in 19, so it's 300
It's signed in
days
19, okay,
after
yeah.
June, not 12th or 19th.
So if the minutes reflect that, that would be the accurate position that we're taking. Not that they start running on August the 11th. That was just the date of the letter. Excuse me. I don't remember what the date of the letter is, to tell you the truth.
Gibby, do you have that in the minutes? Will that suffice for you, Mr. Haynes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. All right, do we have any more corrections to the minutes?
I had a few additions or clarifications that I've given to Gibby, and I'll just tell you.
Okay,
In your report, you said you had met with NCDOT and the Southwest Commission. It is struggling to financially budget considering turning over
DOT.
roads. That's the DOT. or
Correct.
The North Carolina State. Okay, not the Southwest Commission, because they don't have. Number 9, the motion was made by Commissioner Hayne to rescind the January 3rd, 2022 order. It was the order that was done on the August meeting for the beginning of the enforcement of R1 on January 3 of 2022. I've spoken with Gideon, we've gotten the wording on that correct. In the number 12, which is the Big Bear Pen Tower update, the last paragraph said the board directed the town attorney Jake Howard to review and develop a draft of a new lease. I just wanted to clarify that the new lease was because the old lease had expired, not because we just decided to do new lease. I talked with Gibby about that. And in the number 15, the mask update, we moved to rescind the mask requirement because COVID positivity rate had fallen to 10%.
correct. All right, do we have any other corrections on the minutes?
Move they be approved as an.
Second.
All right. All in favor, please indicate by raising your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. The next item would be the report, starting with the mayor's report. So let me go ahead and start that. I appreciate Commissioner Patterson pointing out the distinction about the status of DOT. Commissioner Dale, or excuse me, Treasurer Dale Falwell of the North Carolina Treasury Department spoke at Rotary Club this past week by way of Zoom, and again emphasized that DOT had gone through billions of dollars and they're struggling now to reorganize their financial house. So thank you for pointing that out. I was at the this past Wednesday at the ABC store in the evening, where they have their annual check distribution, and they gave out $75,000 in checks to nonprofits and to the town. We were the recipient of $54,000. Part of that goes to the rec park, the police department, and to the general fund of our operation. So I was really pleased to see that the ABC store is doing well, and they are generating that profit that stays right here in Highlands. Other thing, we had the Wine and Cheese Festival this wine and food festival this past weekend. That was a big event. It seemed to go very well, except there were some problems that we need to address as always. And I know that Josh and his staff will be meeting with the folks with the Food and Wine Festival to iron out some of the issues that popped up during that weekend. One of them was that there was a sound check during the worship services at the Big Tent at the park. In the past, we had addressed that and had an understanding that there'd be no sound checks before those worship services were closed. I talked with Casey Reed of 11 Events. She was very apologetic and has reached out to the folks in the churches to express their sincere respects and apologies. One of the problems I think we had was that we did not do the Wine and Food Festival last year, and this simply was something that fell through the cracks. That is a policy that we will continue to enforce for the next festival.
Do you have that as a written down?
That's a good question.
I don't think we do. It was an agreement,
It's just been an agreement.
the preparation.
We-
group.
We might need to take notes when we have the meeting and get that in writing.
Yeah, so that they'll know it every year.
And one other thing I followed up at our last meeting, you know, it was discovered that with the issue of the radio tower and Verizon, that HLC lease had expired in 2019, and we let that slip by. I talked with Rebecca Schuler, and some other people asked the same questions. Do we maintain a list of leases, and when they're due? The answer is yes, and there is a list. How that one slipped by, we need to go back and look and make sure we don't do that and do a check periodically. It's almost like we need to date it in some type of electronic notification, like an alarm clock saying that this is coming due, but we had been maintaining the list. That's all I have, except one other item. I know that the folks at Optimum, working with Tom Neal of the hospital, have been doing COVID testing and also providing on Thursdays vaccinations for those that need a booster shot. They will, of course, not be doing that this Thursday. That'll be Thanksgiving, but after the holidays, they will resume that vaccination clinic from 9 to 5. It will be only for Pfizer this time, and also they'll continue to have the testing in the community building for the rest of December, and that's from 9 to 5 on Wednesday. So, you know, I'm really appreciative of that, those programs continuing to be available to our citizens and people in this area. So that's all I have. And I will now ask any commissioners if you have any reports that you would like to provide.
Mr. Mayor Betsy, and I just want to congratulate you on your election and wish you all the best in your third term. And I did want to say that Tom's also doing a vaccination clinic at the school from 4 to 6 on Friday.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. Our town manager, do you have a report?
Yes, as many of you have probably seen, they started fire department project. They started hanging the roof system yesterday, the metal trusses. They hope to have those on the next few days and actually have it dried in by the 1st of December. That's been their goal. It's coming along nicely. Paving, Sherwood Forest was paved, finished up. Lower Lake Road, I think, was finished up today. They were trying to get that completed today before bad weather moves in. The Laurel Street Alley that we connected in earlier in the year was paved as well. They all look very, very good. Upper Lake Road, they'll probably start tomorrow. The base coat, hopefully next week is not going to be good weather, so they'll probably continue that week after next to finish it. That was all our paving projects we had. We did meet with Hotwire this week. I had a good conversation. They sent a number of their staff in to look at the head end and equipment they would need. Also some generators and things like that on the building. They looked at our billing software. They're going to be taking over all of our altitude customers December 1st. So the next bill that altitude customers get will be from Hotwire. So we'll be sending out an email to let everybody know that. So they're looking at a number of things, including an office space around town. They've got a couple of places they're looking at. They got to hire staff. John, that has worked for us for the past several years, will be going over with him by the 1st of December as well. They'll be hiring 5 more of those folks. They'll be using some contractors in the future to put in the drops and things like that. We're going over a number of those issues. It's probably going to take them, they had 120 days in the contract, so it's probably going to be, well after the first of the year. They don't have an exact date where they're going to start hooking people up. They're definitely working on it. They're also looking at some shortages in equipment, as everybody is looking at shortages right now, not equipment, vehicles and everything else. I know we are with stuff we're ordering. And they're also looking at some of that. They're trying to move some things around from some of their larger locations to hopefully get in here and get the heading set up quicker. So that's a good thing. Also, Thanksgiving holiday, town hall will be closed the 25th and 26th.
Okay.
Is the generators for the head, is that us or is that them?
That's them.
That's-
They'll be installing a generator, fire suppression, some electrical, HVAC, things like that. They're going to be taking care of.
Josh, on our paving, are all the crosswalks finished as far as paving, marking is concerned on the asphalt itself?
Yes, the DOT paving.
Yes.
Yes, they are. They had 3 that came back and actually 2 that they had to, that was marked previously that they did mark. And then the one that crosses over Forest Cove Road, close to 6th Street where we put the pervious sidewalk in, that they had never paved before. They got that striped as well.
Are they going to put in signs along the corridors about crosswalk notification, crosswalks ahead, that sort of thing? Haven't we had those in the past in a couple of places?
I don't know. We can discuss that with him. Lamar, do you remember notifications for crosswalks?
You want to mention
can-
about the curbing too?
We can definitely contact them on that.
Okay.
We had some folks bring up the new ADA curbing. Ramps have if you've seen them, they've got a curb that comes up pretty high on each side of the ramp, and people can approach those from the side. And folks this past weekend said they tripped over those curbs. So contacted the DOT. Their engineer came up and met with Lamar and said that was the standard now. And Lamar, I'll just kind of let you give an overview of what y'all discussed.
Lamar, could they not just paint the curb yellow to kind of? Okay.
That's Josh, the question there.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Josh, the 3rd Street sidewalk, we're gonna talk about that next month. 3rd Street, right.
Yes, we've got a plan together on the 3rd Street elevated sidewalk. we went back to the drawing board. I think Lamar, we met down there a couple of times and met with the owner of Bear Mountain Outfitters.
Good.
I think we've got a plan together. So next month we'll probably present that.
Okay. Any other questions of our town manager? Hearing none, let's just move on to the next item, number 7, the consent agenda. Any questions concerning the reports in the consent agenda?
One question. I talked to Josh and the police chief about the lady that said she couldn't open the beer-proof can because she had arthritis. And I was just wondering if, Josh, you could look into that in more detail and see if there's anything we can do, please.
We can do that. I think the specifics was that she couldn't open the lid and laid the bag down beside the trash can, and therefore it's not picked up by our sanitation crew. That's the policy. So how we would address that, we can look at that.
Josh mentioned that to me. I think I've got an idea for a device that can be used to unlatch that and easy to pull. Oh, I know you do have to stick your finger in there. I'll test it on mine before the next meeting,
Thank
see
you.
if it'll work.
Coat hanger or something.
Well, it's kind of like that, yeah. Okay. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, number 8, Michael Mathis, the postponement of the public hearing for the Ellis annexation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Ellis is requesting once again that the public hearing be rescheduled for next month's meeting. The applicant is finalizing some plans still with the Ravenel Homeowners Association and his attorney and isn't ready to proceed with the annexation at this time. The recommendation is to hold the public hearing at next month's meeting, December 16th.
And we would have to vote on that to set up the public hearing again.
Yeah,
Reset the public hearing.
And we'll have to re-advertise.
Yes, they're working diligently on this. There's the homeowners requested certain things and have to put some legal documents together. So they proceed to put them together. The attorney thinks that it will definitely be done soon, and December will be the day.
If we vote on this tonight, this will be the 3rd time. My feeling is that we need to move ahead with this.
They sure
On the
did.
3rd time.
December would be the month.
Okay.
I said after that,
And they know that when the December meeting is?
yes.
Okay,
I move that we postpone the Ellis annexation request public hearing until our regularly scheduled December meeting.
Second.
okay. All in favor, please indicate by raising your hand and signifying by saying aye. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Michael. Okay, the next item, stormwater master plan discussion, and this was requested by Commissioner Haynes. So Commissioner Haynes, you have the floor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I just wanted to ask, when we have the budget workshop, if we could spend a little bit of time going over the 2007 stormwater master plan in detail and ask Lamar to brief us on it. And I know there were several properties that got flooded early in October, and I just wanted to talk about it during the budget workshop and see if there's anything that we can do to help.
Okay. Lamar, can you be ready for the workshop to review that in detail?
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Okay, the next item would be the employee Christmas bonuses. Josh Ward.
Well, each year the board approves the employee Christmas bonus. You have before you last year's annual Christmas bonus listed there. It's based on longevity. The current budget includes the same allowance. It's a total of $37,100. Part-time employees last year received a $50 gift card. And the current budget also includes the same allowance, totaling $2,250.
And Josh, that was a change in the way we used to do the Christmas bonuses. It was a major increase.
Correct. Last
We're
year-
just continuing that.
Last year it was double from previous.
Correct.
Make the motion to be approved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your hands and signifying by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we get down to the next item, the last item, and that is closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3, attorney-client privilege to discuss closed session policies and to discuss the pending lawsuit Huff versus Highlands. Do I have a motion that we go into closed session? Second. All in favor, please indicate by raise your hand and saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're now in closed session and I will tell the press if we have any actions, I'll notify you